Hi, and welcome back to another one of my boring videos. This is Mike at Chicago Car Club, and today we're going to be taking a look at this super cool 1977 Pontiac Can Am. This was based off the Lemans. We do have PHS documents on it. We're going to take you around and show you everything that we see. This is kind of a built car. As you can see, it's got ladder bars on it. We're going to take you around and show you everything that we see inside and out, point out any of the flaws on it, try and get you comfortable with the car and comfortable with making a purchasing decision based solely off the pictures and videos alone. You'll notice when we get around this car, the body has a lot of original paint. I would say it's 90 to 95% original paint on the car. And there is a lot of checking in it. There's some flaking, there's some bare spots, there's some touch-up spots. The car is solid, however. It would definitely benefit from a repaint, but we don't see any major signs of rust or any issues in terms of structural on it. And our paint gauge, which you'll see at the end, proves the originality of the paint in a lot of places. A couple places that have been touched up, probably just for aesthetics. This car does not have the original engine in it, but it does have a built 400 in it, which we'll get under the hood and tell you all about in a little bit. Body's really straight on the car. It's got the factory air cleaner intake, and we do not have, since it's got a Holley 4-barrel on it now, it doesn't have the factory air cleaner under the hood, which you'll see. Disc brakes up front. We'll see when we go through this car. This gentleman actually owned two of these. I actually have the other car here as well, which we are doing some engine work on as well. This car was a bit of a street rod, it seems. It's got ladder bars, like I mentioned. It's got pretty built motor. It's got a nitrous kit in it, but we haven't operated it, but everything's there, including the carb adapter with the solenoid and the bottles in the back, which you'll see. Aluminum radiator, electric fans, a lot of good things in it. But as you can see, I mean, there's a lot of checking in the paint here. I mean, this is original enamel paint on there. And below it, you see bare metal. We put a paint gauge all over this car, and all we could come up with was possibly a couple areas that were maybe resprayed. But I don't see any signs of filler. I couldn't get any readings over 10 mils, and that's pretty indicative of paint and clear coat only. So everything's here. You'll see when we get inside and under the car. A little spot by the back window there, but really nothing of major concern here. All the trims here, all the glass is nice, all the louvers are fully intact. It does sit kind of high. It's got air shocks on the back, and it looks like it's got a taller set of springs in the front end. I'm not sure if that was a type of stance situation he was looking for, but we just filled up the rear shocks to get it kind of level with the front. But me personally, I would probably put a set of either the correct springs or lowered front springs in it and bring the back down, so it's to a more suitable ride height. But motor's had a lot of work done to it. We just recently went through it and spent about $4,500 on it, which included the cam, rebuilding the carb, a number of other things which we'll get to. But as you can see inside the door jamb, you can see those plugs there, which tells us this car was undercoated at the dealer. Sometimes I wish they wouldn't have done that, and sometimes it actually helps out, and on a lot of these body GM cars, it certainly helps. So interior is very largely original and in very, very nice shape, as you can see. I believe it to be the original carpet kit in the car, the door cards. It's, you know, the dash cover or cap is in really good shape. The dash itself is really nice. Steering wheel, which you'll see. Non-power windows. This was an AC option car. You can read through our listing and look through the documentation from PHS, which would have told us everything. Again, solid underneath. We see the weep holes there and in through the jamb as well. A little bit of sun fading in the back seat on the side panels by the B-pillars. But all the vinyl plastic's intact. The headliner's nice and taut. The center dome light's in great condition, which is kind of a rarity. As you can see, headlights, taillights, signals all work. Carpet kit's in great shape. It's got some extra switches on the dash, one for the power fan, one for the high flow fuel pump, which it's got, and a couple other ones that I'm not familiar with. One might be nitrous related, but we didn't want to monkey with the nitrous system. I don't know if the bottle has anything in it, nor do I care to try and figure that out. So that is on for the next person. You could just get rid of the system entirely. But again, we did, you have factory radio, by the way, functions, and we do note that the heater fan doesn't appear to be kicking on, but that could be operator error as well. Engine runs really good, smoke-free. Like I said, we just did the cam in this, lifters. It's got a torquer intake, a Holley floor barrel that was just rebuilt professionally. Power brakes, new alternator. This thing holds good temperature and makes great power. Again, aluminum radiator with electronic fans. It's got a Holley high flow fuel pump in it, which is adjustable internally. Obviously, the engine should be blue. I know, but for whatever reason, he painted this one Chevy orange, but it looks nice. It's got a custom oil pan on it that's a little bit deeper, which you'll see. Oil change, coolant, just redone or just replaced on it, and it runs and drives great. It fires up well. It holds a nice idle. We keep the vacuum advance off on the distributor just because I feel like once the car is up to temperature, with the cam in it, it just seems to run better without having that vacuum advance messing with the timing on it. TAC works, speedo works, odometer works, gauges work. The clock, if you slap it a couple times, that works, but otherwise it's kind of stagnant. And you can see it drives nice and straight down the road. You can let go of the wheel. It doesn't wander. Alignment feels good on it. It doesn't have any hops or flat spots in the tires, and we don't hear any suspension noise. And furthermore, as you can see back there, you jump on the brakes, it stops nice and straight. It's got a really good brake pedal in it. So really, this is a well-situated driver. The only thing, in my opinion, left to do on this thing is get the ride height down with the springs and have it repainted. You can get the decal kits online for them, and you've got yourself a top level modded 77 Can-Am. Obviously these cars are pretty rare and harder to come by. We've had a few of them over the years, none as solid as these two cars that we have. The other car will be coming up for sale probably in the next month or so, but this is the baby right now. Limited slip differential. Again, we know it's not the original engine in the car. It is an era correct 400. I believe it's got the stock heads on it still. And you can see the wipers, the headlights, signals, factory AM, FM radio works. Not a lot of documentation to go with the car, but we do, again, have the PHS documentation. I personally picked both of these cars up from the gentleman's garage, and pretty cool to find two of these in one place. That's kind of unheard of. And it shifts really well, not herky-jerky, doesn't slip into gear. It feels really good. Got the car up on the lift now just to show you the lower edges of these panels and everything that you can't really see from ground level. Always nice to get them up. You can see the tabs there on the fender are good. All the way down the rockers, nice and solid. And you'll see when we get underneath it, everything's really solid on this car. Well cared for and well maintained, but also you can't beat storing stuff inside, especially in somewhat of a climate-controlled environment where there's not a lot of moisture. So all the rails look really good. The body mount positions look good. The floor pans look great. And all the way up to the cross members. I don't know that the ladder bars are necessary, but we elected to leave them on there because they were there. Turbo 400 transmission in it. It's got a B&M pan. I don't know if it's got anything shift kit wise done to it, but some new suspension, polyurethane bushings and things like that. And here we're just going around with a paint gauge. Anything that reads low like this is original paint, and it's original paint that's either faded or been buffed. Usually a car coming off the production line in this era would have had 5 to 6 mils on it. If you repainted it, which you can see we get a higher reading here, that's going to give you that extra thickness, but we don't see anything where it zeroes out the meter, which would tell us that it had body filler on it. So a very, very solid example. You can see that's normal factory. Again, 3.6. You know, we like to get down on the panels, up around the wheel wells, kind of everywhere we can. And I apologize, this video looks a little twisted right now, but just trying to show you everything we're seeing. 2.1 on the fenders. I mean, that's factory paint for sure. Big spot on the door there that was touched up. It was just a bare metal spot. Even down there on the flat black part of the bottom, which would be thicker, really shows nothing down there. 6.2, that's normal. Deck lid, 2. I mean, this is a rock solid car. So as always, we encourage you to reach out, call with any questions anytime. Call or text 312-420-3696. We appreciate you watching.